So in this film we begin by seeing guys who keep bees talk about bees, unsurprisingly, and this doctor then decides to study wasps instead. Something to do with royal wasp jelly having regeneration properties and making things more youthful. You know, maybe that's why wasps are so evil, because they're the guardians of the secrets to immortality. And he's fired for not studying bees. Here's a lady who owns a corporation that sells beauty products. She feels that she's getting old, so when Dr. Zinthrop randomly walks through the front door and says he can make her young again, she's all over the idea. A cat wasp randomly attacks him. This film in a way reminded me of the time I watched Little Shop of Horrors, and strangely it's by the same director, because random ominous music just starts up when nothing's going on, and it's the same bloody music! Basically, the entire film is about a woman's vanity and wanting her youth back. I mean, as stories go, it's pretty shit. But then again, this film comes to us from veteran director of monster movies Roger Corman, who at the same time is responsible for garbage such as Attack of the Crab Monsters and The Terror. Then the professor or doctor or whoever he is then in the hospital because of a car accident, but wait, when did this happen? What happened to him? This is bollocks. Oh look, there's a quick cameo by Roger Corman himself, if anyone cares. The first half of the film is pretty boring, but it's a slow build-up, which I sort of understand. What a hero this guy is. The woman screams upstairs because the company boss turned into a wasp and is trying to kill her. But get this, he doesn't run up the stairs, no. He waits for the lift. What a legend. That puts him up there with other legends in these films like Eros from Plan 9 and Captain Patrick in The Thing from Another World.
You see? You're stupid mimes. Stupid. Stupid.
The main guy then chucks oil at the alien from a foot away. Oh, Captain Patrick, you fearless bastard. There's a lot of running in a dark room, but I've got no idea what's going on because it's simply too dark to see. A window breaks and I assume the wasp lady fell out, and then end. It was bad, but that guy waiting for the lift made the entire film for me. 4 out of 10. The Killer Shrews. You may have guessed what will happen from the title. However, it is far greater than anyone could ever conceive, because according to the back of the DVD cover, and I quote, Sailor Thorne Sherman and his first mate Griswold take shelter overnight in a house on a remote island. Here they meet the scientist Dr. Marlowe Craigus, who, while attempting to cure world hunger, has created giant killer shrews. There is nothing I can say about that. I mean, in these old films I've witnessed giant crabs, giant leeches, a pathetic excuse for a vampire, 2 different kinds of killer plants, stop-motion brains, a spider wolf, and a wasp lady. But this is by far the most ludicrous setup I've ever encountered. Well, apart from Zardos, obviously. So, here are our heroes. Thorne and Griswold. Or is it Rook? I don't actually know because they can never make their bloody mind up what his name is throughout most of the film. So Rook or Griswold is told to stay on the boat, while Sherman goes ashore to the compound overnight. But for reasons unknown to me, he goes ashore later and he dies. Why? So yeah, as I said earlier, Dr. Craigus has created giant shrews. Yes, because that will help us understand overpopulation and solve world hunger. Top marks there. Unsurprisingly, when there's a storm that night, the giant shrews loose on the island get into the compound. So on the island we have Sherman, the doc, a lady, a douchebag, and Mario the butler and or servant. And is it me, or is it all they ever seem to do is drink? Again through most of the film. I guess when you're making a film as low budget as this, the cast have to be accommodated as much as possible to make them act. And they only stop when the Shrews get into the compound. I think there was intended to be some sort of love triangle between Sherman the lady and the douchebag character, but it all just pales into insignificance because you just don't care. Oh, and Mario the servant dies. I liked him. The only character I gave a shit about died from an infected or poisonous shrew bite, being the hero on the hunt for it and everything. I've heard a lot of people complain about how the giant shrews are basically dogs covered in carpet rugs. Well, to be fair, it is worth remembering that a lot of sci-fi and horror films back in the 50s and 60s did work with shoestring budgets, and complaining about things like that just seems like nitpicking. Okay, yes, I've complained a few times about monsters looking like shit in the past, but I'm allowed to, because Zardoz says so.
Zardoz speaks to you, his chosen one.
Exactly. Come on, use your imagination. People worked really hard on the effects and... okay, maybe not that hard. Anyway, they managed to escape because Thorne Sherman forgot to mention he's the uncle of MacGyver, because within 5 minutes he's got a blowtorch and lashed 4 oil drums together and has made what is basically a tank. What? The douchebag character hid on the roof and attempts to make a break for it. And he survives. For about 10 seconds. But he falls over and he dies. And the shrews eat his face. So Sherman, the doc and the lady make it to the water, swim to the boat, and the film ends. So it's grade A bollocks at its best or worst depending on how you look at it. The concept alone scores major points with me for being absolutely ridiculous. So a few extra points gives this 6 out of 10.